Hi, this is James, and before we start the Game Overtime podcast, I've been asked to read the statement prepared by Microsoft in regards to our last episode. As many of you know by now, on episode 2 of the Game Overtime podcast, myself and Ben were responsible for creating a new product for the market under the name of the Xbox. The unlawful taking of Microsoft's intellectual property has created an uncomfortable situation between Microsoft and the Game Overtime podcast, for which we are very sorry. This kind of robbery of another's treasured asset is much like the kind of high seas hijinks you can get up to in Sea of Thieves. From Rare, the award-winning developers of the Banjo-Kazooie series and GoldenEye 007, comes a shared world adventure game that offers the ultimate pirate experience. Packed to the seams with sailing and exploring, fighting and plundering, riddle solving and treasure hunting, Sea of Thieves has everything you need to live the pirate life you've always dreamed about. Sea of Thieves is available only on Xbox One, Xbox One X, and Windows 10. It was an inexcusable lapse in judgment and moral behaviour on our parts. We never intended to trick the general public with our product, and understand that by doing so, we have changed the public perception of Microsoft's intellectual property. Much like dynamic seasons change everything, at the world's greatest automotive festival in Forza Horizon 4. Go it alone or team up with others to explore beautiful and historic Britain in a shared open world. Collect, modify, and drive over 450 cars. Race, stunt, create, and explore. Choose your own path to become a Horizon superstar. Forza Horizon 4 is available only on Xbox One, Xbox One X, and Windows 10. We understand the consequences of our actions and will be following due process to move on from this situation in a lawful manner. And if you're looking to move on to the most powerful gaming hardware, there's nowhere better than the Xbox One X. With 40% more power than any other console, you'll experience immersive, true 4K gaming. Games play better on Xbox One X. Again, we are very sorry for this misbehaviour, and if Microsoft have anything further to discuss on the matter, they can contact us through our legal channels. Sincerely, James, Game Overtime Podcast.
What a relaxing...
Oh, Ben, you're back from your vacation.
Yeah. Oh, how long has it been?
I don't know, let me check the calendar. About 1 month.
Oh, God.
I'm surprised you managed to swing that much time off from the boss.
I didn't really, but it was supposed to be a week. I ended up getting into some trouble.
Oh my god. I mean, where did you say you went on holiday again?
Al Delfino.
I've heard it's meant to be lovely this time of year.
Yeah,
What happens?
I thought so too, but I got there and there were some reports of a criminal going around graffitiing the town, and they mistook it for me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I ended up getting arrested.
Yeah.
And then bailed out of prison the next day. And
Okay.
I had to clean up the island because they thought it was me. And it was this whole thing. The guy was an imposter. He was also a turtle. It doesn't really matter. How was your holiday?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it certainly doesn't sound as sunny as yours. Actually, I went to Anne Orlando for my week-long vacation.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
The architecture there is stunning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's really lovely. I mean, I'm a big architecture fan. Actually, it was quite astonishing. They let you kind of run up on the roofs and stuff, and between buildings, they're really kind of open to letting you get up close and personal.
That's quite interesting.
Only problem is kind of like this time of year, they got a really, really big gargoyle problem. So, a lot of the time I ended up, falling off, or those giant suits of armor that they're known for, they threw like big spears at me, and I ended up, getting knocked off buildings. Fortunately, there were at least a few bonfires around that I could, reload myself. But
all right, well that's neat of them to do that.
No, I thought so too, but, one of the days, the spears and the gargoyles just got so bad that I thought, I'll go inside for a little bit. So I went into the cathedral for a bit, and they had this wonderful old painting. I can't remember who did it, but the problem was that the moment I started taking pictures of it, I ended up in this magical other world, which was full of snow, and, I'd only packed for the trip with, shorts and shirts. I was expecting, kind of more Mediterranean weather.
I've got to say, I do hate when it happens. You go on a summer holiday and somehow it just turns into a winter holiday.
No, absolutely. I mean, I know Al Delfino kind of has that problem as well, that sometimes you'll be standing in the town square, the next thing you know, you'll accidentally fall into a pipe and you'll end up at their hotel resort, which is sometimes overrun by ghosts.
Yeah, it's a lovely place at times, but there are some issues, and I'm not sure I want to go back there anytime soon.
No, I imagine the language barrier was probably a bad one, because obviously the people on Al Delfino, they only really speak in like grunts and stuff. They're not really, their language isn't as sophisticated as ours. So I imagine that when you were trying to explain that you weren't the cause of the graffiti, maybe that wasn't really going through to them.
No, I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. It both sounds like we've had some bad holidays. I think the boss is getting on all right on his holiday though. I mean, I've been back for a little bit, but I haven't really heard from him for the past few weeks.
Yeah,
but,
I noticed an email in my inbox about it, but I didn't click on it. Too stressed.
Oh, okay. Well, knowing him, he's probably emailed you by accident rather than sending it to me. So, it might be urgent. So, do you mind giving it a quick look?
Yeah. Subject: vampires. Okay.
Okay.
As you know, I've travelled to Transylvania to conduct a business with Count Vlad Dracul in regards to getting our games distributed in wider Romanian area. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he's been talking about that for a while. Yeah.
This visit has given me an idea. Could we create a product that could defeat a vampire? No real reason why. Time is of the essence. This was sent last week. Okay.
Oh, okay. So time is really of the essence then.
All right. Well, okay.
Well, my body's still pretty numb from my snow adventure in Anolondo. So if you could make us a big cup of coffee and we can try and get this show on the road.
All right. Well, okay. Let's get to work then.
Okay, let's get to work. Hello, welcome to the Game Overtime Podcast. I'm James.
And I am Ben, and we've been on a bit of a hiatus.
Yes, we have. A month has gone by. We haven't been there for the past month. Quite a lot has happened in that month. Maybe not as much. Actually, maybe a lot hasn't happened in that month. But it doesn't matter. We're back. We're bigger. We're better. We're badder.
Yeah.
And we're ready to...
We're going to make games this time.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna make some dreams come true. And one of the dreams that we're gonna make come true today is make a game that could defeat a vampire.
Yeah. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, the famous fictitious creatures of the night. Vampires.
They've tried steaks, they've tried garlic, they've tried the sunlight. But have they ever tried video games?
I don't think they have. I think that's why they've come to us with this idea. So
okay. Well, my first question for you is: are there any games that have almost killed you? Like you've been playing it and thinking, "I'm dying. If I keep playing this, I might pass away."
I've played a lot of RPGs where it's felt like that.
Yeah.
But the light at the end of the tunnel seems so far away, and yet I can't pull myself away from the game because obviously I need to know how it's going to end. Yeah. I've played a lot of bad games like that, actually. I'm not going to name any names, but I would say that there were certain titles that I stuck with just because I felt like I needed to, either because they got a lot of praise, or there was something to them that I needed to know. If I got to the end, that would improve, and I felt that by finishing them, it was a part of my life I was never going to get back.
Yeah, well, vampires, luckily, do have a lot of weaknesses, and if we can incorporate those into these types of games, we might just have ourselves.
Yes, I think we might be on the right track. First things first, I'm thinking, is that if we just make a game that appetizes to them, rather than going for the direct method of having a game which say, they start, like, do you remember those old-fashioned Scary Maze Flash games where sometimes you go through them and then a spooky face pops up? Like that, but it's like a crucifix pops up instead. Because they don't like crosses, do they? It winds them up. But I think that might be a bit too on the nose. But if we make a game that really entices them and they stick and like it's something they want to buy, and then they pull the disc out, but the disc is actually made out of garlic.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Then vampires like blood. They love blood.
That's true. They like blood. They like. From what I remember of the film Blade, the famous documentary Blade, they like going to nightclubs, they like techno music.
Yep.
So if we can incorporate those elements as well, that'd be quite good.
They're big fans of bats. I mean, some of them are bats.
So they can turn into bats. Yeah. I know that much.
So they probably like them. They like gothic. They love big castles and cathedrals.
The big old goths. If we can feature some sort of Marilyn Manson tie-in with it, I think we'll be on for a winner. So how do we combine all these elements into a single game?
Well, I'm not sure we should do a single game or have...
Well,
we're going to go through lots of...
We want to spread it across as many titles as possible, just in case they look at this one super vampire game and go, this is a bit suspicious. I don't think I'd want to... This seems like a trap. But 4 separate games that are all things that I like. Well, obviously I'm going to hop into one of these.
Yeah, the Vampire Chronicles. Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe you don't want to name it the Vampire. Maybe you just want to subtly market towards them.
I'm thinking when they do those Namco arcade collections, which have all those classic games on it. Well, this would be like the Namco Vampire Collection. 16 games that all appeal to her.
Okay.
So blood. So what's a game that we can do with blood?
Cooking game.
Cooking with blood.
Well, maybe not cooking with blood, but there could be a mechanic in the game where you can accidentally cut yourself, which will cause blood to go everywhere, and that's just...
Okay.
Then, but then they might wanna...
Not like a Cooking Mama expansion where you make black pudding and
you could do that,
else.
Yeah. And then you could throw in a cheeky garlic at some point.
Oh my god, no! If we do that, then they're gonna be like, no, fuck that.
Okay.
Unless it's like Fruit Ninja, where you have to bat the garlic out of the way.
Or it's just the game's moving so fast that a garlic pops up, you slice it, and you're like, oh no, what have I done?
Or it's like pre-chopped garlic in a tube, so you're not quite sure what it is. It could be like pre-chopped onion. So lots of confusion.
There's a lot of ways to disguise a garlic in a game.
What if, those, like Loco Roco, where it's like you kind of play as a fluid and you have to get it round, different levels? What if that fluid was blood? What if you have all this blood at the beginning of a level and you need to get that blood to the end of the level where there's, hungry vampires or something? A nest of hungry vampires, vampire chicks.
Oh, that's
You need to figure out how to get the blood through the level. There's an idea.
Yeah, there's...
Or, if you play as a human body and you're not getting enough blood circulation, so you have to rotate the human body to get all the blood to all the places to make sure that it's working. Well, so there's an idea.
There's also obviously I feel like we've done this before, but surgeon simulation is probably rather appealing to vampires.
I would say so. It's a genre on the rise, especially in those circles. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe instead of putting the body back together, you're taking it apart, seeing where all the blood is, trying to find the best part. But obviously, you want to avoid blood loss because there's less drinking fluid.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, it's every drop's important. That's your high score. Is as much blood as possible. Those are the sort of things that they're worrying about on a day-to-day basis. What if it was like Super Mario Galaxy, but rather than them being planets that you hop to, they're different animals with different blood supplies. So
and you're just...
Well, you're like a vampire hopping between them, because you don't have to worry about space and shit. I mean, I don't think... did they breathe?
Do vampires breathe? Well, I mean... Surely they do.
I've never seen a vampire film, I've never seen a vampire documentary when one of them has ever been under the water swimming.
I suppose that's true, yeah. Well, don't they dislike water?
Well, that's the thing as well. They dislike holy water, and so, if I was the Pope, and I'm not saying that I am the Pope because I'm not, but if for some reason they decided the Catholic Church was going to ordain me as the Pope, I think my first trick would be like, right, I'll go to like an oil rig in the most centermost part of the ocean, and I'll just be like, right, check this out, bam, entire ocean, holy water, literally. 90% of the Earth's surface, or 80% or whatever, that is now holy water. You can drop babies in that; they're going to be instantly baptized.
Oh, this would speed everything up. I'm wondering why the Pope hasn't done that yet.
I wonder, maybe the Pope is in cahoots. Maybe the Pope's been paid off.
Maybe he is a vampire.
Maybe this is no longer the Game Overtime podcast, but this is the game. What's it called? Political. I can't. What's the word I'm thinking of when somebody has made some? Well, it's not like flat Earth stuff.
Okay, conspiracy.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah, this is now turned into the Game Overtime conspiracy podcast.
Yeah.
What does the Pope know?
Well, I don't think we should pry into his personal business too much. I have a sneaking suspicion he does listen to the podcast.
That's a fair point.
In which case, we love what you're doing. Keep it up.
We love you, Pope. You can't see it, but we're doing big thumbs up to you, Pope.
It's true.
It is true.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
that is why we're doing this. This is why we're doing this about how to defeat a vampire. The Pope don't like vampires.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
100%. Jesus of Nazareth. We're all a big fan of him. That's why he lived in Nazareth, where, as I've seen from all the pictures and paintings, it was never nighttime. It was hot and sunny all the time. Literally couldn't escape it.
Okay, so they love castles, don't they?
They do like.
Do you think they enjoy Castlevania, or do you think that's too anti-vampire for them?
I think Castlevania could be an aspirational game for them. Because it's not so. Because obviously you're playing as somebody who's going through Dracula's castle to try and defeat him, but like at the same time you'll be like, oh wow, how could Dracula afford such a wonderful place to live? And like, you know, and he's got all the different sections to his house, like, you know, he's got the big clock tower with the giant gears that you can stand on.
In that
and
case,
he's got,
we could just do a home renovation game.
Ooh. Yeah, so rather than playing as Simon Belmont, where you're going through whipping people, you play as like a civil engineer who's going through, and you're like ticking off different parts of the house, being like, yeah, this is safe. This isn't within all the safety guidelines.
I'm sorry about this part. This clock's moving a bit too quick. I'm afraid that someone might fall off these gears.
I feel like you may need some ladders to get up to the clock tower, because I don't mind jumping between gears, but having these Medusa heads, you know, flying backwards and forwards, I feel like, you know, you might get knocked back. It might cause some problems.
I'm afraid about this part. There's like a really high gap in the ceiling, and you can't get to it normally. But yes, there's a power-up that turns you into a bat. Well, I'll tick it off, but if I'm seeing too much more of this, the whole place is going down.
Do you know that you have a merman infestation in your aqueducts, sir?
Yes,
Do you know
they're paying the rent.
Oh, okay. No, that's understandable. I mean, obviously, we will have to get this reclassified as a HMO, a multiple occupancy, knowing this, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see it. A little bit like SimCity, almost like, you know, if you defeat enough bad ones, if you get enough blood from them, you'd be like, you know what? Maybe it's time I finally build that conservatory I've always wanted.
Well, you always got to wonder when you play games, like, wow, this world's just so convenient. Do you think there's a guy that goes in beforehand and is just, like, prepping the place for you? He's like, okay, he's looking through the world of Zebus. He's seeing all these walls that are insurmountable, and he's like, okay, can we drill a hole here, make it wide enough for, like, a morph ball to fit through? Because you've got to wonder about all the morphle slots. Who's using them? I don't think it's the Chozo.
The little bug lads are using them.
Yeah,
like, basically, during the day, you know, their main job is walking around, literally moving around a platform 360 degrees like nobody's business. But then when they go home at night, you know, that's where they live, in those clinical metal houses. Sometimes they got a giant bird statue in them holding a power up. Sometimes they don't. You know, at the end of the day, when Samus comes in and she shoots them, you know, they need somewhere to respawn as well.
Yeah, of course.
Gotta think about that.
Well, okay, so you could also do a game where you literally are Dracula putting together his great castle. You start with a measly hut that you gotta add things onto. There's gotta be a form of economy though.
Blood's your economy in a Dracula game. Blood's the most important thing.
Yeah, that could be a secondary gameplay mechanic. You go out at night, get some blood, and during the day you're inside the house, planning the blueprint for it, and building it up like Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer.
Ooh, see, there we go. We could have some synergy going between the Castlevania franchise and the Animal Crossing franchise.
Okay.
Who's moving into your new village? Oh, it's Alucard. Did you know that's Dracula backwards?
Oh,
I didn't. Thanks,
whoa.
Tom. I know.
It's a huge revelation.
He told me that after I paid him 200 bells.
Cheeky man.
I know, cheeky boy.
Okay, so we've got all the trappings for a vampire.
Yes.
At least some of them, at least.
Yes.
Now, this is the part where we gotta kill the vampire.
Yes, so obviously we've got them in, we've got them trapped, and we got them trapped playing our video games. So how do we... Could we make a game that generates pure sunlight? Because that's one thing that they got a problem with, is that if they get caught in sunlight... They don't like it. No, that's very true.
Well, I don't...
And I know that televisions only exhibit pure white light, but could we do it so that they have to buy a special television? Much like you had to buy a Nintendo 3DS only so you could play 3DS games with that special screen. Could we have it so that they have to buy a special portable Game Boy? And we don't tell them this because obviously we don't want them catching on. But it has an ultraviolet light emitter.
Okay,
yeah, this is good. Yeah.
And they just melt.
Yeah,
exactly. Playing the game.
It just blasts a big old hole through their heads. Yeah,
they're like, oh, this 3D slider. Let me see how it works. They turn it on all the way, and it's like, oh, my eyes.
WarioWare, man. What's his name? Wario.
Yeah,
Wario
that's the one.
Wario.
Okay.
Yeah, John WarioWare from WarioWare. He's like, okay, now this is the part where you have to use the gyro, and you're like, okay, yeah. And he's like, right, here's the bit where you have to use the buttons, and it's like, yeah, right. And he's like, okay, now here's the bit where you have to look directly at the screen and like not move.
Please look
like, yeah,
right into it, like don't blink.
Yeah, please put it as closely to your face as possible. And you're like, yeah,
this will enhance the gameplay experience. I promise. I'm John WarioWare. Here's my badge.
Yeah, here's my credentials. Here's my certificate from the University of WarioWare.
And hapless vampire over here is like, ah, yes, John WarioWare. I will do everything you say because you are my favorite video game character.
I like the fact that all the vampires that you know all sound exactly like the Count from Sesame Street.
I'm afraid to say it's not. Vampires aren't my forte.
Oh my gosh!
I can do one of them.
Okay.
And I just look. Some people sound the same. These just happen to be people that sound the same. Or he's just out.
I would like to apologise to any audience members who may be offended by Ben's impressions. I would like to say that I do not. They do not represent me.
To any vampires listening, we're sorry.
Yeah, we don't mean to cause any offence to people who are either vampire or vampire adjacent or sound like vampires.
Oh, that's gotta be unfortunate.
No, I know. That must be... Yeah, because, I mean, we'll have people who are, like, buying these games being like, oh, I cannot wait to play this game. But, like, they're not vampires. They just sound like that. That's just...
Is Wario the best mascot for the game, though? Because Wario loves garlic.
That's very true. But Wario has turned into a vampire on occasion.
Has he?
Yes, in Wario Land 2? I know he does in Wario Land 3, and he does in Wario Land 4 as well. If you get bitten by a vampire bat, then he turns into Vampire Wario.
Okay.
And you can also turn into a bat, and it sort of turns into like balloon fight controls, and you can float up to the ceiling. But if he gets caught in a ray of sunshine, then he turns back into regular Wario.
Ah.
He doesn't just immediately die.
Okay, so I guess he's relatable in a sense. But then, at the same time, he's the perfect backstabber. He's a vampire who also loves garlic. And
Ben,
yes.
Are you trying to say that Wario is Blade? Are you saying that those films would be massively improved if instead of Wesley Snipes, it was Wario?
I mean, I thought that about most films, to be fair.
I would say with most films they would be improved.
I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean and I just thought, well, Jack Black's great and all, but what if he was Wario? Instead.
I agree. I'm enjoying. I was trying to think of a horrible film, but not such a horrible film that I couldn't say on the podcast. now I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's a paradox right there.
Yeah, it is. That is a paradox of I want to push it, but I don't want to push it too far, just in case.
Yeah, there's like the perfect middle ground, the 1%.
And unfortunately, I don't think I've ever been in that perfect middle ground in my entire life.
Damn.
No.
If you know any of them, please let us know.
Yeah, could you please tweet us at game? What is it? Game__overtime? Or?
That's a good question. I think it's that. We'll go with that for now. It'll be in the description of the podcast anyway.
Yes, if you know any films that could be improved by Wario in them, please send us a tweet.
But they're also bad films,
read them out
but not
on the
too
next
bad.
episode of Game Overtime.
Possibly, if we remember.
Possibly. Hopefully, we will do that one more recently than a month, but we'll see what happens.
Anywho.
Either way. Wario. Not Wario. Vampires.
Yeah.
So, GBA with an ultraviolet.
Okay.
That's one idea.
We'll now switch. We gotta think. Though... Yeah, they could play it on the home console. And then... Because that'll really fool them. They'll be like playing this game on their home console for hours. And I'm thinking, this game's perfectly normal. They take their Switch out the dock. They look at it. Blast. Done.
I'm just imagining that now. You're just watching it on television, there's just big bright flashes of white, and they're like, oh wow, this is kind of obnoxious, but okay, never mind.
We'll get them next time.
I was just thinking, like, you know how you can slide the controllers out? Like, what if the controllers themselves were stakes? But then you would have to hope that they themselves would accidentally stab themselves with them. Yeah.
But they could, where could you stick some, like, maybe some secret holy water or silver? They don't like that.
That's true.
Or a holy symbol.
Oh, yeah, no, I know it has HD Rumble. So what instead of HD Rumble, what if it had HW Rumble, because the HW stands for holy water. And so you're playing 1-2 switch, and you're doing the cow milking minigame. But milk actually comes out of the controllers, but it's actually holy water.
There we go. That's another. So we're thinking maybe a new type of Joy-Con we could use, possibly.
Yeah, a Joy-Con, a completely silver Joy-Con, which has been ordained by
I'm not sure.
cardinals.
The problem is, if you give them a completely silver Joy-Con, they're probably not going to buy it. They'll be browsing the store and they'll see the silver Joy-Cons and think, this one is not for me.
No, that's a good point. You could pretend it was an aluminum one.
Oh yeah, they love aluminum.
Kind of,
or James, wait, what are we doing? Come on.
I'm just saying. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we could give them an aluminum metal one.
James, we're not American, are we?
Are we?
I know you've been in Anna for a while.
That's very true. The famous American city of Anna.
I know it's like right next to Texas.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually in Texas, funnily enough.
Yeah,
that's
I was
why
never
all
sure about
the
the geography of that.
That's why all the gargoyles are wearing big old 10-gallon hats.
But come on, aluminium. This is our country, our podcast, our rules. We don't pander to the Americans or the vampires.
Gwendolyn's there wearing a t-shirt that says everything's bigger in Texas. which is really funny.
Yeah.
It's like 60 foot tall.
Okay, well. I just heard the alarm. The coffee alarm.
Oh my god, is it that time again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's take a break and pick this back up.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Ben here. I wanted to make a quick addendum to the episode because we forgot to mention it in the actual episode, but the music for this podcast is done by Maxo, and there'll be a link to his Bandcamp in the podcast notes or the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube. So go check out his music; it's very good, and I forgot to mention that. And also, if you're enjoying the podcast, because we don't really say this. Tell someone about it, tweet about it, tell a friend about it, post about it on Facebook, I don't know, do something. If you enjoy it and you think others might enjoy it too, then, I don't know, spread the word. Because, to grow, we need that. We need you guys to, spread the word of the podcast, and, that's about it. Thank you to everyone that's listening, and to everyone that's helping, spread the word. Also, leave a review on iTunes, because apparently that helps, I think. That's what they say on the other podcast anyway. So yeah, thanks for listening once again, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hello, we're taking a quick coffee break before we return back to thinking about games with vampires. So as we may have previously mentioned, it's been a month since we last did one of these podcasts. So, Ben,
yes.
During that month, did you play anything that you would want to talk about for the next few minutes?
No. Okay, well, so I was thinking about this before, and played quite a few games. I was like, I could talk about Sunshine. I could talk about Hyrule Warriors for the 50th time. I could talk about more Hollow Knight. And I'll get its day one day. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Advanced Gungeons and Dragons.
Advanced Gungeons and Dragons.
So, I played Gungeon, near enough when it came out, and I liked it enough. I'm not huge on roguelites. I played for, maybe 5 hours, and then I was like, this game's great, but at the same time, I'm not sure it's for me.
Okay.
And then, it came out on Switch, I was like, okay, that game's out again on Switch. Cool. And then they dropped this update, which I had no idea about beforehand, and it was called Advanced Gungeons and Dragons, which may be the best name for an update ever.
It's probably the best name I've ever seen for an expansion pack.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think anything's going to improve over
No.
it. I would be surprised if it does.
And I saw that and was like, okay, maybe I'll play it again. So I played it on my PC for a bit. I was like, okay, cool, this game's a bit fun, but you know what? I'd like it on the go. And then I saw it was discounted. And I was like, I can get this game for £4.
Ooh.
So I did.
And this is on the Switch, yeah?
Yes. Now I've been playing it.
How is it on the Switch?
It's got some problems. Loading times are a bit long.
That's rubbish.
There's occasional slowdown that's not too drastic, but it's there. And there's been some glitches. This happens to me twice. I walked into a boss room. The boss didn't start, so I was just stuck in the room. Nothing happened. Had to reset my playthrough, and that was always a good time.
Yeah.
But they've been patching it, so maybe it's out now.
No, I would, yeah. Well, I imagine, that they probably won't leave that stay too long if it's got problems. Is it weird that I always think that it's weird that 2D games would have glitches and stuff versus with a 3D game I could understand because of how they work. That 3D is an inherently clunky thing anyways because it's all floating polygons and stuff like that, which again, I'm not a games designer, as you can probably tell by 3 episodes of this podcast already. So I may not quite know how 3D stuff works. Although I did go on a 3D computer animation course, so I know how they work enough. But even then, I always feel like 2D's it feels more firm, for lack of a better word. That stuff should kind of work. But...
Yeah, I suppose so. But you never know with code.
No, absolutely.
It's a garbled mess of stuff.
I mean, there are games that don't feel firm at all, which kind of leads me into the next question I was going to ask was, have you ever played Binding of Isaac?
Okay, so my friend owned it on his PS Vita. He was one of the like 5 owners of those, and
he was one of the 5 people in the UK. So he was part of the Vita Council.
He loved his Vita, played it, all the indie games.
Just to remind the audiences, Vita means life in Latin. So
yes, and he had Isaac on it. He loved Isaac, or loves Isaac, I guess. And I didn't play it much. Granted,
okay.
I played maybe a grand total of half an hour of Isaac in my time.
Yes.
And I don't know. Comparing to Isaac, I'd say it's more fun for me. Like Isaac, from what it seems like, it takes a while to actually get a run going. Whereas Gungeon's consistently fun from the start to the end. And I also love it feels a lot more fast paced. You can like push up tables, use them as defense just in the middle of combat. You can slide over them. You do a lot of stuff in that game. And Isaac...
Yeah, I remember in... Because I played Gungeon, but I didn't put much time into it. I don't know what it was about it, but I didn't immediately gel with it. But I remember that the table flipping was quite cool, and dodge rolling felt really good. That's like one of the best things about the game.
Yeah, and one of the things they added in the update was actually being able to slide over tables.
Oh, nice.
So that was quite a cool addition. Not like when they're up. I thought that was what it was. So like I put a table up, I was like, I'm going to slide over this. Surprise attack.
They still have to be flat to the ground, do they?
But it's still nice, because like if you just want to... It's quite quick. It's good. And
that sounds really good.
The update added some nice stuff. There's a new boss, which I haven't fought yet. Because like it's late game stuff.
The dragon is an actual final boss in the game, isn't it?
But that's not what they added. They added this rat boss because there's this rat that steals your stuff if you leave it in a room. So like you don't pick up a gun immediately, and you go back to the room because you forgot it. You go back, he's stolen it, and he's a new boss, and I have not fought him. But
I'm assuming his boss shtick will be any guns that you left over, he should start shooting with them.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Well,
and
cool.
They added loads of new guns, items, some enemies. Maybe a new area. And there's just more Gungeon.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's good for me because jumping in from like the start again. As much as like I'm not seeing a ton of new stuff because I can't differentiate between the old and the new, there's just a lot of stuff in the game.
Yeah, no, I remember that being a big thing about it because it's a little bit like Isaac in that respect, where it's just like there's hundreds and hundreds of guns in the game. Like,
it's incredible, and like there are so many references. You'll get like a Final Fantasy VII weapon or a Mega Man weapon. They added all the beams from Metro Prime in the update.
Okay.
It's loaded with references.
If you're a big fan of references, if your Oscar-winning film for this year is Ready Player One, then this is the game for you.
But yeah, Gungeon's great, good time. Maybe because it's easy to like take around with me, I'll play it more, and I have been, to be fair. So maybe I'll beat it this time. And how about you, James?
What have I been up to? Not too much. What have I been playing? I did start playing Hollow Knight. Haven't got massively far in it, but I got much further than I did the first time I played it.
I heard you caught some sort of disease, like on the while you were playing
Unfortunately, I stopped playing Hollow Knight because for some reason I was feeling the call of XCOM 2, a game that I've now nearly sunk 100 hours into.
Wow.
Despite the fact that, I like XCOM 2 a lot.
Do you?
Yes, funnily enough, I do. I made a video about XCOM 2, which was like one of the first things that I did on my channel, and like even then, I don't feel like I properly got across how much I like XCOM 2. But it's a lot of good fun. It's how much do you know about it, Ben?
So, I haven't played it.
Okay.
I wanted to. I'll get around to it someday. As for like games like it, I play Fire Emblem, but that's probably the closest I'll get. I don't know, it's not.
It's very. I say it's similar. I haven't played a lot of Fire Emblems, but I have played Advance Wars.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that.
Okay.
And obviously Advance Wars is very similar to Fire Emblem because they're both by the same developer. But it's quite... So basically, there's two parts to it. There's the combat part and there's the management part. And so the combat part is the bit which is most like Advance Wars. So basically, you'll go in, you'll have four little soldiers to start with, and then eventually you turn that up to 6. And the whole game it's a little bit like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's all about placing your guys, making sure that they're in the right spot, making sure that they have line of fire on a particular enemy. You know, all that basic stuff. You always have 2 moves per turn with a unit. Some units will have special abilities to them, so you have like sniper units that can do long range stuff. You have rangers that can use swords, they can do melee attacks. You have explosive experts that can blow away cover. But like one of the main selling points of the game, and like kind of the thing that they've carried over from Enemy Unknown, which was the first one, was that every soldier has an ability called Overwatch.
Yeah.
So what this... Yeah, and what it basically means is that, like, because it's a turn-based game, it means that you take a turn and then the enemies take a turn, and, like, it's pretty strict on who's doing what each turn. But what Overwatch basically means is that if you want, you can use one of your actions to basically say that if the enemy comes into my soldier's line of sight during their turn, then that player, like, that soldier can get an attack out on them. And, like... That's just kind of like that whole thing is kind of the whole ethos of that game is you're kind of preparing not just for your own turn but like kind of future turns as well. And one of the things that they added into which they sort of played around with in the expansion pack for 1 is a lot more about timing. So like the original
I watched Mark Brown's video on it.
That's right. He did a video. Yeah, he did do a video about it. He didn't like the timing.
Yeah,
stuff,
he didn't.
Did he? I feel like I'm the only person who does.
He likes the more organic, like stuff, such as an invisible ink, where if you wait. Actually, I'll talk about this in a bit. You keep going.
No, okay. The reason I like the timing stuff is basically like. Because the way the Enemy Unknown used to work was that you basically just you were kind of like you played almost like a turtle, like you crept forward and you just kept like defending as much as you could. Well, this kind of almost challenges you to play in a more of a creative way. It's a bit like kind of like what I like in stuff like the early stages of like Phantom Pain, where you haven't got enough money to afford everything. You haven't unlocked certain things, so you're basically like, well, I've got this world to play with. I've got only like a few things. I need to improvise, and like that kind of improvisational aspect of XCOM 2 is something that I really like, and it kind of plays into the whole thing of like it's not an easy game to begin with, anyways. Like you will lose soldiers quite quickly and stuff like that, and so it all feeds into that. Like you're playing in a more of a kind of a quick and a dirty way for. And it makes the game more interesting, and like that's why I like it a lot more than Enemy Unknown in that respect.
Yeah.
But so what was he saying? What was
basically,
he bitching about?
He said the time limits were just too strict, but he essentially just brought the point that there are some better ways to do it, such as in Invisible Ink, where you have stuff like after a few turns the sensors will turn on and like turrets will pop up and more security will just keep popping up the longer you take. So it's like a soft time limit sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of the longer you stay in a level, the harder it's gonna get. Like it's not there to punish. Well, it's kind of punishing you, but not like to the extent of
hard failure.
No, and like obviously, and you always know what the thing is at the beginning of it. I mean, interestingly, I've been playing base XCOM 2, but then I went over to play the expansion War of the Chosen.
Didn't and that some do of the missions like that?
There is stuff in that which does that. They give you kind of like an enemy, like not anger meter, but enemy alertness, and that basically means that like if you go throughout a level, without ever catching their attention, that always stays at 1 and that makes it easy. But like the moment you shoot one of them or the moment they catch your attention, then it starts ticking up. And then once that happens, they start pushing in more enemy types, like harder ones as well.
Yeah. So, I was gonna ask you, have you played SteamWorld Heist?
I haven't played SteamWorld Heist.
You should.
I've played SteamWorld Dig 2. And I like Dig 2 a lot, but I haven't played Heist, and I've been meaning to.
Yeah.
I have played Invisible Ink, though. In fact, you mentioning that actually makes me want to go back and give it a go at some point.
Yeah, I need to play more of that game, because I haven't got too far into it. But
so unfortunately, Hollow Knight, he's going to have to go on a break, because I've said
you can't keep doing this.
I know, I keep pushing him off. Poor Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
And I want to give Invisible Ink a try, and then I am taking a little bit of time off next week. And then when I come back, I need to play Yakuza 0, which I've got preloaded on my computer. After everyone has told me that it's the best game ever made. So I need to find out for myself.
I know one person who's been telling you that. At least one person.
I know, yeah, you know at least one person. I've heard it from a couple of other people as well.
Okay.
So we will see what happens.
Yeah, SteamWorld Heist. It's like... So people describe it as 2D XCOM, and technically I don't know how accurate that statement is. But you go around, you got movement, turn, and then you got your attack. And all your attacks have to be aimed at the enemy, which is like the kind of interesting part about the game. So you have to think about, can I make this shot myself? Or do I want to go to a safer position where I will be able to make the shot, but also placing myself in more risk? So like there's a interesting balance to like it that's more interesting to me than just, oh, here's a percentage chance of getting the hit, whereas you kind of have to put more faith in your ability to like aim and ricochet shots sometimes, or it's interesting, very interesting, and it also has that time mechanic in it.
Okay.
Where you get the turrets pop up after like a few turns, and then more enemies will spawn outdoors, and eventually you'll just get completely dogpiled by enemies and stuff.
Got ya.
But it's a great game. I like it more than the other SteamWorld games.
As I said, I have been meaning to give it a try because I do like Dig 1 and 2 quite a lot. 2 I like a lot more than 1, actually. So
yeah, I do like
XCOM style games, so yeah, I do need to give it a go. So
but,
I'll add it to the ever-growing list of things that I need to play.
Put Hollow Knight to the top, though. That's okay with me.
If I put Hollow Knight at the top, that's the main one. Fair enough.
So August is an interesting month for stuff.
What are you looking forward to in August?
Well, Monster Hunter World's coming out on PC, so maybe it's finally time I actually get into it because I need to. Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like they maybe... Because I remember when it came out, like, February or March time, like, everybody was, like, really big on it. But, like, since then, it's just sort of... People have gone really quiet on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that launches... And it has a lot of hype surrounding it as it launches, and then that sort of dies down.
But it's not like to the point that like with, well, as I said, Yakuza 0, like people are, now that it's coming out for PC, like beforehand, there's been weeks of people now trumpeting it and saying, oh, you need to play this game when it comes out.
Yeah,
but like
I haven't seen that same support for Monster Hunter.
No, neither have I. It feels like there's been a bit of a drop-off on it. Like, people kind of maxed it out when it came out in February and March, and then since then there's been nothing really worth returning back for. So,
yeah, I don't know. They've been adding a lot of DLC stuff, like new monsters and all that.
Dante from the Devil May Cry series, he's in it now.
The thing is, I'm a fucking huge Monster Hunter fan anyway.
Okay.
So I've got to play it because I'm...
You need to know.
Yeah.
You need to cuddle with your palicos or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the prowlers, the palicos, they have like loads of names. And yeah, it's I know it's gonna be amazing. I played the demo like 20 times and that was fun. So I'm gonna love it when I play it eventually.
Have they crossed over with Final Fantasy 15 yet?
14 actually.
Oh,
strangely.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, that is. Yeah, no, that is very weird.
And I'm kind of
surprised.
uncomfortable about it because they added a Final Fantasy monster to the game, and like the amount of development time for a new monster's probably astronomical, considering how few of them are there in the how few of them there are in each game. So it's weird for them to make one of them like a crossover monster, because like usually the crossover stuff they do is just new costumes, like a new weapon.
Yeah, it's cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, and they went ahead and did a new monster, and I don't know about that personally, but
I mean, do you think they'll be like reusing animation and skeleton stuff from a previous monster, or
maybe,
Oh.
but like all the monsters have completely different behavior in this game, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, so who knows?
Yes.
But yeah, that's just one game. A lot of Metroidvania stuff coming out this month.
Yeah, I've seen. So the DLC for Hollow Knight's coming out, obviously.
Yeah, and that's going to be the best one.
Yeah, that's the DLC you've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be better than Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for
100%.
you. What else though? Because I know there is. Oh, Guacamelee 2 is coming out.
Yeah, that one's that's so weird. Like,
have you played Guacamelee 1?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I enjoyed it
was
enough.
Okay. It felt like it felt like if it had come out on the Xbox 360 arcade like 6 years ago, it'd be like my favorite game.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's fine.
The dungeons are a little. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of them.
Yeah, and like it kind of felt like its entire thing was, oh, it's like Metroid but with wrestling stuff in it, and like that's okay, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was about it. It hasn't stuck
odd,
with
yeah.
me. I like how it looked,
Mm-hmm.
and I like how it animates and all that stuff, and I like Drinkbox. I like the stuff they do. I'm really like Severed.
I was about to mention Severed, yeah.
Their iOS, well, it's on iOS, it's on Vita, it's on
Switch
all
now.
sorts. It is on Switch now, but yeah, that game's really good fun.
I still need to play that.
It's a really cool kind of like it feels like a Zelda game, but like the perspective is like of an old-fashioned PC style dungeon crawler, and yeah, it's good. I heartily recommend Severed.
I'll get that one. But yeah, Guacamelee 2 just kind of, it's coming out, I guess. I don't know.
That's kind of at that on the lowest rung of your list, basically, for the Metroidvania.
Well, it's just like, it feels like we haven't seen anything of it. Maybe we have. It's stealth releasing, it feels.
The only thing I saw of it was its announcement at PSX, and that was it.
And like, no one even talked about it. I remember Mark Brown tweeted about it. He's like, I didn't even know this game was coming out, and it's just there.
Yeah.
I know.
What else is coming out though? Because I can't remember.
The full release of Dead Cells is finally releasing on August 7th.
I haven't played.
So that'll
Dead
be out
Cells
by the time this goes out.
I keep getting Dead Cells confused with Hyper Light Drifter because they look similar.
Yeah, Dead Cells is a Metroidvania roguelike.
With dark, is that the one with Dark Souls elements or
Yeah.
not? Have they all got Dark Souls elements?
Yeah, actually.
Is every Metroidvania now? Has that all got the Souls system in it?
you gotta have those. But yeah, I mean it's permadeath, so.
Well, there we go. Is permadeath roguelike Metroidvania Dark Souls like?
Yeah.
Crafting.
From the early access stuff I played, quite enjoyed it, but it's like it's one of those things that's a roguelike. I'm probably not going to go back to it. But the full release will give me a reason to at least try it again.
Cool.
And finally, Death's Gambit.
What the heck is Death's Gambit? I've never heard of that.
So like, have you heard of Dark Souls?
It sounds familiar.
Okay, so it's like 2D Dark Souls is all I know about it.
Okay.
And I think it might be a Metroidvania.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is Metroidvania an abused term? Do people use the term Metroidvania where it's inappropriate?
Possibly. I'll have to like review all these cases and
Have you ever played a Metroidvania game where you felt that it was more of an actual Metroid homage than it was a Metroidvania? So I've played plenty. I've never played a indie game that's felt... Well, no, that's not true. I played a few. I've played a lot that have felt like they're Super Metroid inspired, and I've played a few that are Symphony of the Night inspired, but I've never played anything which I would have said was like a blend between the two.
Well, I mean, Axiom Verge, I haven't played it, but it looks very, very Metroid-y.
Yeah, that game, it looks more like Metroid, like it looks like Metroid 1 more than anything.
Okay,
I don't
what
know.
games were you going to mention?
I don't know. I don't know. I've totally lost my train of thought. I thought about all the Metroidvanias, and then suddenly my brain exploded. But actually, no, that's the point. I went back and replayed Area of Sorrow actually on the Game Boy Advance because I was catching footage for a new video, which is on a Game Boy Advance game, and then I thought, well, you know what? I haven't played any of these Castlevania GBA games. Let's give one a go. And so I started playing Area of Sorrow, and I'm like, you know what? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard the GBA ones are great. Area of Sorrow and I forgot what the other one's called.
Well, there's a couple. So the first one's Circle of the Moon, which I can't remember if it's like a traditional. No, I think it is. I think that's a Metroidvania, but it's more linear. And then there's Harmony of Dissonance,
That's
which
the
is
one,
the
I think.
one that nobody likes.
Oh, isn't it?
And then there's Area of Sorrow, and then there's something else of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow, that's a good one as well.
Okay.
Oh no, is Dawn of Sorrow on the DS? Because it's
Maybe.
Dawn of Sorrow DS.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. Well, that's what they used to do. You'd have to put the DS on it, and then you'd have to come up with, what does the DS stand for? Like, Advance Wars Dual Strike. Or
it reminds me of the new Cuphead DLC called Delicious Last Course, which stands for DLC.
Oh my god, how did I not notice that?
Everyone was going on about it. It's like, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen. I'm like, well, I mean...
what about Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance or 3Ds?
Or Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that's an homage to, but...
Because of the Nintendo 365 over 8 days as well. You know, that's how they got it in.
Anyway, let's go see Alarm.
Anyways, oh my god, is there the alarm again?
Yeah.
Oh, well, better get back to work then, I suppose.
Yeah, oh well.
Oh well. Hello, and we are back.
Yes, lovely, lovely coffee.
Big tasty coffee. Loved it a lot. My favourite coffee.
Do you think vampires drink coffee?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about them. I don't know whether they act like human beings or whether they just act like gremlins, like 24/7. I don't know. I've seen a lot of vampire documentaries like Twilight and Blade and stuff like that, and they're just all over.
Yeah,
the
they
place,
always depict
really.
them quite differently.
Yeah, it's like they're very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Sometimes they glitter, sometimes they have like detachable jaws, sometimes they turn into mist.
Yeah,
There's lots of different vampires in the world. You know, they're all very different. Some of them don't sound like the Count from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Not that that's pointed at anyone in particular. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, but some of them are. They do. And the thing is,
I mean,
it's hard to actually know like the definitive list of vampire weaknesses and loves. But if we try and cater to at least quite a few of them so that we can kill most vampires, that'd be pretty good.
A full vampire SWOT analysis is what you're thinking. Strengths,
yeah.
weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Here's what I'm thinking. Because all the email says is how to destroy a vampire.
Quite quickly.
Maybe it doesn't mean destroy as in, destroy their bodies. Maybe he means, destroy them on Twitter?
Huh.
You get what?
So, strangely, he worded it like that.
Yes, no, I know. I can't remember how he worded it.
It said defeat
actually.
a vampire.
Was it defeat a vampire?
Okay.
Or was it destroy a vampire?
Defeat.
I can't. Okay, so let's carry on with this train of thought.
You could defeat a vampire in a political debate on Twitter.
That's what I mean. So what about if our game was about subtweeting Dracula? So what if Dracula, because Dracula's a bit of an out-of-touch dude. I mean, he's been alive for a couple hundred years. He owns large property. He doesn't seem to think much of, the poor people that live outside of his castle. So, he doesn't... I don't think
he accommodates some of them.
That's true, but I would say that, much like large businesses, he kind of sees his workforce as expendable.
Yeah.
In fact, and literally sometimes... Yeah.
He kind of uses them to defeat his enemies when they walk in.
Yes, exactly. So what I'm thinking is that, what if, like, Dracula has a Twitter account where he's posting, like, really out-of-touch stuff, like, oh, humans, they don't need rights, the only right they have is the right to be my feed. And then you play as a vampire hunter, but your shtick is that you subtweet him on Twitter and, like, come up with really good burns.
Oh, and they don't like fire either, so they hate that.
Oh, there we go. That's what I mean. So, like, and, like, the high score-based system is based on getting a good ratio. You know what a good Twitter ratio is,
Yeah,
right?
Of course. I don't have one of those,
get big... No, I've seen one. I've seen one through the shop window on Christmas morning, but I've never really had one myself.
It's what I've aspired to always, but
it is to have a good Twitter ratio.
I mean, it's my life goal, but I don't know if
I mean, in fairness, you've never been bad ratioed. So
well,
at least
maybe
got
2014, but we don't talk about the old days.
We don't talk about 24. No. So, like, your trick is, like, your high score is trying to get a good ratio, so, like, lots of likes and retweets.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes you respond to a couple of, his, what is Dracula, his thralls? Like, when he turns when he turns certain people into, like, his vampire underlings. Like, so they're, like, there in your mentions, like, responding to you, being like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And, like, you're getting good burns in on them as well.
Yeah. You say something about how their mum smells like garlic.
Oh my god.
Hate that.
Oh my god, out of touch monster. Maybe Trump does a tweet and then, like, Dracula's like, you know what, everybody gives Trump shit, but I totally agree where he's coming from. And then you subtweet him saying, like, out of touch monster supports out of touch monster, and they're like, oh shit, fucking got him.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Okay, and how exactly do we incorporate this into a video game?
Oh, that is the video game.
Okay, so you'll play... Okay, so we're not actually... Because how are we going to keep this up to date? Are we going to have, like... online service?
No, Twitter's the game.
Oh,
the game is Twitter. We have the engine sorted, which is Twitter.
Okay, well, we'll just send this one to the boss. Hey,
yeah,
boss,
yeah, exactly. Shoot that email over to him. We're gonna come up with other ideas, but that one's so good, we might as well just send it to him right now. That's we got that boy in the bank.
I'm worried we might get fired
in the
for,
blood bank.
Laziness, possibly, because we're supposed to come in here and create new original ideas. And we've come out.
I'm sorry, but can't you think of what is more original than a game on a platform that nobody else is making games for?
I suppose that's true.
Exactly. Twitter's the future, Twitter. People are going to live on Twitter in 5 years' time.
Oh God.
People already do live on Twitter.
Oh God. You're right.
Yeah, think about that.
Oh no.
I know exactly. You're gonna be looking for your first flat. And you'll be there, and you'll be standing in cyberspace, and it'll look like Pac-Man, like where it's all black with some blue lines to separate walls and stuff. And you're gonna have the real Tay there, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, this Twitter account, he's got enough room to move in. You got 140 character limit, so you're gonna have to decorate it as frugally as possible."
He slaps the roof and he says, "This bad boy can fit 280 characters."
Yeah, exactly.
And you, being the cheeky person you are, you bring all your friends, and you're like, "No, not those kinds of characters, you fool! You can't fit 280 of those, unless the names are really short."
I'm sorry, we can't fit in any non-malformed characters in here. You get out of here. And all your friends who are Arabic letters, they have to leave. And kanji, they gotta go as well.
But yeah,
sometimes you invite him over, and then like Microsoft translates your nosy neighbor, and he's like slamming against the roof. But rather than saying keep it down, he's saying could not translate tweet from Ukrainian.
And this tweet was actually in French.
Yeah, no, he thinks the tweet was in French. Exactly. Okay, so that's one thing, is destroying Dracula in the battlefield of the mind.
Well, yeah, and then we could just beat him in a game. We could just like.
Oh, that's a point as well.
We got to create a game that's vampires aren't very good at.
Is he any good at Street Fighter?
I mean,
does Dracula strike you as somebody who owns a fight stick?
Yeah.
No, that's a fair fight. What do you think he has on it?
Probably.
Do you think he plays anime fighters?
Oh yeah, he's a
100%.
weeb. He's a weeb.
Do you think he's a big old weeb? Oh, Drac.
Yeah.
Oh, Vlad. Dracula.
Yeah, he watches anime all the time.
You go over his house and he's got those. What are those horrible silk posters called? Which have like anime on them. Scare scrolls. He has anime scrolls in his house, like
everywhere. They litter the place.
He's got like you go on his bed, and rather than there being throws on there's just body pillows.
Yeah. He hears Simon Belmont. He's like, oh shit. This is the. All these years we're playing Castlevania. We haven't found the deepest secret at all. Dracula's real bedroom.
Oh my god!
It's in there somewhere.
That being said, in one of the later Castlevania games, they do turn into anime. That's the real. Maybe that's like maybe the Castlevania game beforehand has a bad ending where Dracula wins, and then this game is set in the bad timeline where everything has now turned to anime.
I feel like if we have any Castlevania fans watching, we've deeply upset them with this one.
I feel like if we have any anime fans watching,
that's
actually,
also
if they're
true.
watching at all, that's going to be very. That's surprising. They should be listening.
They could go on the YouTube video. They could look at the screen for the whole time. Look at the beautiful picture.
Yeah, they could be looking at the picture. Maybe it's like a magic eye puzzle where kind of like your eyes wobble and it makes it look like the mouse moving. But
at least we'll tell them it is one.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll be stuck there like an hour and a half passing. Like, oh shit, I've given him an hour and a half of views. Ka-ching.
Oh my god. Literally going to stick us right to the top of the rankings alongside old Pewds.
Yeah.
Do you think Pewds is in cahoots with Dracula?
How close is Sweden to Romania? I mean...
Sweden's closer to
he's
Romania
than
we are. That's true. In fact, I think he lives near. We could invite him on.
Yeah, he'll be a guest.
He could be on the podcast.
He'll be the guest next week.
Yeah, we could. The Game Overtime featuring PewDiePie. We don't even have to like actually invite him on the podcast. What we could do is just like get old PewDiePie clips and just like splice them in and be like, "Yeah, no, fair point, Pewds. No, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that."
What's up, bros? It's PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. Yeah, and we'll be like, "Yeah, no, totally for the DS as well. Yeah, that's a good idea."
Okay, well, that's what we're talking about next week. We've spoiled it for the viewers. We'll cut this bit out. Sorry guys, we kind of ruined that review for you. So, okay, I guess what we could do is we could skip next week and come back in another month's time and do that podcast instead. I remember like someone was like, "Oh, I've got a great idea for an April Fool's," and they said it, and I'm like, I can't do it now. Great.
Oh no!
It's the saddest thing you can ever do.
I know, that is pretty sad. But have you got any other thoughts about how we could defeat vampires?
Let me just look at my the vampire weakness list I have on me always.
Okay, yeah. Pull that note out of your wallet.
In European folklore, they are weak to aspen, oak, ash, maple, dog rose, wild rose, holly, juniper, millet, linden, mayflower, roses, lemon, rowan, and wolfsbane. You know what I'm thinking? Could we just do like a wholesale rip-off of Plants vs. Zombies, but it's trees versus Dracula? Yes. So here's what I'm thinking. Like, you know how in Lemmings, where you have those lemmings where you put them down and then you turn them into the ones that like stop you from going anywhere? Yes, I love Lemmings. Yes, I thought you did. You do talk quite often about how much you love Lemmings, but
What I'm thinking is, like, what if, like, Dracula was a runaway train? Like, he's constantly running forward. So what you need to do is that you have to plant trees in his way to kind of, like, redirect him.
Well, you can't. It can't be Dracula. He's like.
Okay.
He's like the final
just...
boss.
Oh,
You
right.
just
So
got
you're
his
thinking of
Viking? No, those are the same things. Vampires. Vampire underlings.
Oh, it's Thralls.
Yeah.
As we were trying to figure out earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm saying that properly. If I'm not, that's going to be an entertaining fact.
Let's just name some characters so like the guys that are actually making this have an easier time putting the characters together. We got.
Okay, they need to all have vampire. What's a vampire style name?
Well, we could just name vampires in media, and have them in the game.
Can you think of any famous vampires that aren't Dracula?
Count from Sesame Street.
Okay, the Count from Sesame Street. All right.
You got Alucard.
Alright, Alucard, there's two. Robert Pattinson in Twilight.
Okay, yeah.
I know his name isn't Robert Pattinson, but we could call him Broughton Patterson.
Peter, John, one of those.
Angel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
True.
He's one.
Wario.
That's true.
And his
Wario
vampire
sometimes. Yeah, we did cover that earlier.
And
Although is he not like a Blade vampire? Also, would Blade be in this?
I don't know. Do you want to put Blade in it?
I feel I would like to put Blade in it, but I wonder whether we might get in big troubles. I mean, we're going to get in big troubles anyways for all the other ones. So,
Well, with Wario, he could have a special thing where if he eats a garlic, he turns back into a human, and then suddenly he's against the vampires and he's walking back that way.
So then you need to plant other stuff that aren't trees to get him to move the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what's something that Wario doesn't like. Mario, you have to plant Marios to point him the other way. Trees and Marios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've got a beautiful garden full of Marios.
Or you could just have like a plant with like a red cloak on it, or like a red hat that just has an M on it, a crudely drawn M.
Yeah, the leaves look like red Mario hats.
That'll trick Wario.
There we go, I quite like that. I can't think of any other famous vampires.
Well,
so, yeah,
I think we
that's
named all
fine,
of
that's
them.
5. No, I know, we don't need all of them. We could invent some.
Yeah, like I said, the Viking vampire we could have.
Yeah, Viking vampire, pirate vampire, who he has like a ship and a peg leg. That'd be good.
Yep.
Although obviously he's on the ship because he doesn't want to fall in the ocean in case there's all holy water. Because as we mentioned earlier, Pope might have done that.
Yeah, vampire sheep.
Oh, vampire sheep, and he gallops. Actually, no, sheep don't gallop, do they? That's what a horse does.
Well, it depends.
Yeah, it depends what mood they're in.
Yeah.
Depends what day it is. Is it galloping day or not?
I mean, I've seen cows gallop. Like, I'll look out my window sometimes and I'll just see a herd of cows galloping. I'm like, I'm not being sarcastic this time. That's true.
No, I know. I'm happy to believe you.
That's just Britain.
Yeah, that it's just how it is.
And Forza Horizon 4. Which one is it? 4.
4. Forza Horizon 4 coming to Xbox One X, and Windows 10. Windows 10
you might
PC.
see galloping cows.
Ooh,
I maybe shouldn't have said that. What if that's wrong? Could get in trouble. Oops.
I was about to say we're already in pretty deep water with Microsoft anyways. We don't want to
deep water, like the deep water in Sea of Thieves for the Xbox One, Xbox One X, and Windows 10.
Thank you for saying that.
Anyway, moving on.
Just in case.
Okay, we've got lots of possible options to kill these dang vampires.
We got
or not kill.
So we got
possibly.
So we got our game to entice a vampire. So we got our blood game. We got I think it was just the board game that we came up with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
We
didn't really extrapolate on that much more. There was.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we could possibly. I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, could we destroy a vampire? A vampire's need to video game. Like if we, though The boss say...
could we make a game so bad that a vampire would never want to play games anymore?
Yeah. A game so poor, so below standards. We market it towards vampires. We say, hey, this game's for you. This one's for you. Kind of like the bird game, but on purpose.
Hey now.
And we make it such a poor representation of vampires. Like in the vampires in the game, they walk up to a.
They all have really offensive vampire accents as well.
I voice all the characters.
Yeah, we got you to do all the VO. Sorry.
They walk up to a grocery store and they say, "I can't go in here. There might be a garlic," and we make them out to be these really wimpy vampires. We basically just like completely offend them, so they just decide it's not worth it.
You want to make like a racist vampire comedy video game?
Yeah. Is it racist if it's vampires?
Are they a race?
I don't know.
Monsterist?
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know. I think there might have been a lesson about this in Hotel Transylvania, but
I feel that in that famous documentary, Hotel Transylvania. Fair point.
It's a good film.
Documentary.
Yeah, I mean, documentaries can be films.
Yeah, so it's a film documentary. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that.
I think that's it. So we got a blood game. We got our GBA SP that blasts, or switch that blasts ultraviolet light and may also stake them. We have destroying Dracula on Twitter through subtweeting. And we also have a game where we plant trees to try and get vampires to run into holy water.
So here's what we do. We make a new Joy-Cons with the features previously listed.
Yes.
We got the HD Rumble.
HW Rumble.
Yeah, the HW Rumble, sorry.
Holy water.
And we also add the... we make a game for it, and it's going to be the Plants vs. Zombies-like game.
Okay.
Where the vampire's going to be very distraught about losing. And we also add the fancy accents and such to really, make them a bit annoyed. And we also say, if you're not a fan of this game, why don't you just complain about it on Twitter? Which lures them into the Twitter space where we come on and we just dunk on them.
We fucking destroy them.
Yeah, we destroy those vampires. They're like, this game's shit. Why did I spend $60 on this? And then we come in and we say, I don't know, why did you? Or maybe not that. Okay, what have you got?
You're not very good at destroying.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Oh, fucking hell.
In the moment, maybe, but like...
I hired you for the podcast based on your ability to pwn people on Twitter, and now you're telling me that you made that up on your resume.
Yeah, I also made up the fact that I've played video games before. That one's...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I haven't played any.
Oh my god.
I did a lot of research,
though. He doesn't find out that I don't play video games live for the audience.
This is like one step further than the Final Fantasy VII thing.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, don't even bring that up.
Okay, but we...
Don't even bring up the time where I pretended that Final Fantasy VII was Final Fantasy IV and people got very annoyed and confused.
Okay, and that's... Though all those things together?
Yeah, let's combine them together. We'll... We pretty much got ourselves a 3-point plan. We got a game designed to offend... We got a... Part 1 is you get the vampire to play the game. Part 2 is you offend the vampire so much that they'll go on Twitter to complain about it. And Part 3 is we destroy them on Twitter.
And the peripherals. The brand new
peripherals. And obviously the peripherals. Peripherals is basically, that's your plan A. That's how you destroy them the first time. And if that doesn't work, then the plan B is destroying them on Twitter with fire tweets.
Yeah. Because what if what we'd thought about vampires being weak to holy water was a lie? And they got wet, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? My hands are just wet now.
Oh, this is shit.
And then they get blasted with the sunlight, and they're like, my eyes. This is... what is this game? It's so stupid. And I'm going into an Italian accent now.
Oh my god, Italian vampire. Does that mean that we have to make sure that our game follows eFigs? So it's translated to Italian as well.
We need a lot of localizers for this one.
Hey, that's not for us to worry about.
Yeah,
that's for the bods downstairs. So let's get this idea off, and let's get this vampire game on store shelves.
Yep. And you know what else is on store shelves now?
What?
Later. Crackdown 3.
What?
Players.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Voice.
Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
Join a shared world where you play as a superpower agent, and you can cause as much destruction as you want. And starring Terry Crews and oh my god, I haven't written. Oh my god, Ben, close the door. The Microsoft boys are there again. They're coming in.
God.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Stop.
Well. Okay.
Stop the podcast. Stop the podcast.
Yeah. Omne opus non ludere.
Which is oh my god. Oh my god.
What's it Latin for, James?
Ah.